Welcome back, Kim. It's how are you doing with this delightful COVID thing we got going on?
Oh, you didn't tell me you were going to ask me how I was doing. That's a whole other segment. We're fine. Count your blessings, right? Be grateful. We have a roof over our head. We have groceries. My kids are safe. They're not with me. They're older. The dog and the cat are good. We're all good. We're all good.
Right,
We're hanging in.
right? That's not so bad considering all the possibilities. That is not so bad.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Yeah. So compared to lots of other folks, I mean, yeah, we're both not physically really working right now. So there's not a huge amount of money coming in. Thankfully, there's money in the savings account and unemployment has kicked in. So that's good. But yeah, we're all just trying to figure this out.
I
Every day is
know.
different.
Yeah, right? I know. Yeah. And it's like this emotional kind of like, where am I at today? And I've, for the most part, been doing pretty darn well and appreciating my
Yay.
time at home and appreciating the schedule being just sort of like, I know what I'm doing, but then when I'm home and doing my stuff, I've kind of just been taking things at a little more leisurely pace. I'm busy for the most part. It's like I'm not a whole lot less busy. I'm just less intensely busy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is
Right.
kind of nice. So I'm kind of like, bringing in some new things, taking a little time to do this and that, and try out that new, exercise program, blah 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 blah. Just kind of
Right.
like, all right, let's just do this. So I've been enjoying my PIO program, by the way.
Good.
So the new find that I finally really got into during this. So it's nice. It's nice to have some of those like things to shift in a positive way. And I know that some people are experiencing that, and some people, this is really hugely challenging in a lot of different ways. So everybody's in a different spot for different reasons.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Somebody mentioned online the other day, we're in this together, but everybody's experience, is so very different.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody's challenges are very different. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. There's the common thread, and then there's the really massive, huge branches off of those threads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, one of the things that I know is happening for people is organizing. And, for the people who are home, who have the time, for the people who are not working, I've certainly seen many people talk about tackling projects or thinking about tackling projects. And I know I heard or read somewhere that garbage collectors were noticing that there was more garbage. Of course, what I don't know is how much of that is just because there's more people in the house and how much of it is part of the cleaning process.
Oh, sure.
But I imagine, that makes sense. So when we had you on last time, we talked about all of the wonderful things that you do when you're working with people. And we touched a little bit on being the virtual organizer, being that person, on the other end of the video camera or the telephone or whatever the case might be. But we didn't really focus on it. And right now, that is what everybody's doing. So I'm excited to have you kind of just talk about this part of your business a little bit more and help people understand what does that look like. I think that when people think when we think about organizing and we think about whatever that means to us, we think about having somebody in our space. So we don't so much think of what does that look like if somebody is on another state, or in this case, next door.
Exactly.
So, yeah. And I know, and I want to talk to you too a little bit about, kids being home. And maybe that's a nice place to start for people who you're home with your kids and your family. And, maybe you've got one or a bunch of kids and I was actually just talking to somebody else today who was saying how, some of their friends were saying how nice it is that they don't have to bring all of the kids to all these different ball practices or these different events, which is,
Right.
it's wonderful to do that, but it's also just a whole different shift of not having to do that. So, people are able to cook and plan meals differently than they
Mhm.
have. But it's a whole different, uh, in a sense, maybe chaos is the right word. I don't know. It depends on your house and your family. But when you've got
Exactly.
kids home, all of a sudden, poof, you've got 1 to 3 to however many kids you got in maybe different grades, mostly different grades, unless you've got a set of quadruplets or something, which could be really handy. But they're all going to be, in different spaces in what they're doing, all doing different things, but all needing to get things done, and your whole family schedule is kind of tossed. And I was thinking, some not only are people dealing with that, but perhaps they're even dealing with making those shifts and changes in cleaning and organizing. So talk about that. How do we kind of order that situation a little bit?
Oh, sure. So whether we're by ourselves or with a spouse or partner or with a family, um, and I think about, I guess top of mind thinks about, okay, mom and dad now are working from home. Let's just throw all of the chaos in, right?
Right.
So mom and dad are both trying to work from home, and they've got, 3 kids on 3 different laptops or screens or whatever, trying to do their homework in different areas of the house. And yeah, so let's say, okay, who's got a house with 5 home offices right now?
Right.
Right? I mean, that's
No.
kind of it. And I guess my advice to the moms and dads out there, single parents, is try to mirror the school day as much as possible. You know, math is at this time, which some depends on how old the kids are, whether they're going to be in a Zoom meeting, with their teacher, or if they're handed assignments to do throughout the week. But try to mirror the school day as much as possible. um, Breakfast is at such and such time. We're gonna get up, we're gonna brush our teeth, whatever, eat, and then get going. Then have time for homework too, which is usually in the evenings. Now maybe it can be at a different time of day, but try to mirror the school day as much as possible, and time lunches together and snacks, and have snacks available. If mom and dad are busy, there's pour yourself a bowl of cereal or make some toast or grab a granola bar, or, apple, orange, or string cheese or something. But yeah, try to mirror that school day, and have a schedule as much as possible, because we all, whether we're 2 or 92, we all thrive in a routine. We all thrive in a routine. That's why I think this has just pulled the rug out from under everyone, because now there's not a real routine. I may not shower. I may not even get dressed. I may stay in my yoga pants all day long. I guess I could stand up and make sure and let everyone know I am wearing blue jeans today.
I can attest to that. I saw.
Yay! I do have my house clogs on, but yeah. So yeah, routine and schedule, so they can count on it, and they know what's coming next, and so they're expecting what's next. So
And you
the
can organize that time. It just keeps your time kind of organized. You're not trying to figure out what is next. What
Yeah,
do
for
you
sure.
do? And then there's all of these things to do and you have to fit them all in. Well, they all fit in before. So if you can
Right.
just,
Yeah, expectations for sure. So the kid knows what's coming next. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
absolutely.
I think this is one of those times, not to counter what you had just said, because I think what you said is absolutely true, but it's an interesting time if you can thoughtfully if you want to try a different schedule or try something different. Like I can imagine that like I think of going to school and how every 50 minutes you had a new subject, right? And I'm thinking
Right.
of parents trying to help their kids and things like that, where if you had some control over that, you could block them out a little bit differently but still keep them within that same school day, you know
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
but
Yep,
having that
absolutely.
that mindful schedule, yeah, it's as much as some of us, and I'm one of those people who resists a lot of those types of things. They are very, very helpful. They make it a lot easier. They take out the questions of who's doing
Mhm.
what, where, and when, and you don't have to think about it.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, a parent can color code, get a whiteboard or some, plain white paper and just color in everybody's activities for the day and try to keep, I mean, God bless these parents right now that are doing all of this. For crying out loud, this is a lot to ask mom and dad
Yeah.
to all of a sudden step into the teacher role. Yeah, keep the kiddos their papers neat, and try to designate a spot for each child to be able to somewhere go, and some quiet spot for them. um, Maybe now's the time to get headphones and different things for kids. I've heard that that's been helpful to keep them focused. They can block out the outside noise then in that way.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
from the kids' perspective of this too,
yeah,
of
for
having to
focus.
work at home. Like, when you're at school, you're used to working with people around you, but they're people, they're not your family. You know what I mean? Well, they're people, these are your family.
Yeah,
I
everybody's the same age. We're all in one space. We're all supposed to do the assignment at the same time.
Right, exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a whole, everybody is in chaos trying to figure out how to do that and trying to wrangle kids who are challenged by being wrangled behind a desk every day. To do that at home is got to
Yeah.
be, yeah, no, the parents have a lot to deal with, the kids have a
Mhm.
lot to deal with. Yeah. Good thoughts. I think that's
Right.
um
And I and,
yeah.
and I've told other parents too at this time, reach out to some folks if you know some folks that have been homeschooling all of this time. Reach out to those people and try to get some advice from them. What worked for them, what were their challenges, what worked, what didn't work. And yeah, I hope that there are some communities out there that are doing this, that are
Right. Right. Well, and from what I'm hearing is that it's all very different for kids, each kid in different schools, different teachers. So sometimes you're interacting with your teacher a lot, some of them are not, and so yeah, it's kind of it will be so interesting when this is all over to hear some of the stories that the parents and the kids have to tell about this time.
Yeah, oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So, thinking about the parents or the people or whoever you are, parents or not parents, and the organizing piece of all of this. What does it look like, or not? I don't even want to start with exactly what does it look like to work with you, which is a big piece of this. But when people are thinking about diving into organizing, and because they have the time and they can do things different, and when you're home and you've got a chunk of time, there's just so much more you can do, right? I mean, I know people who have taken their week vacation to stay home and organize, right?
Right.
Where might people start in the mindset, and I'm thinking people they might have already tackled some projects, but then there's this
Oh,
whole next step and reordering or rethinking about what to do with, or how do I handle, so there's a lot of places that you kind of can fit in, but maybe starting out with what might people be even thinking about, and why is this a good time to sort of do some of those, besides we're home, potentially, but why is this a
right,
good time to take that on?
right. Well, first off, I want to say, I mean, all along, I mean, that's just what I do is promote, intentional living, living with less. Um, Throw your self-care in there. Everyone needs self-care. Self-care is not selfish. and and everyone is also thinking, or had thought before this all happened, oh boy, I wish I had time to, and then fill in the blank, right? Time to learn a new skill, time to take more yoga, time to clean out the garage, time to, go through the house and declutter, right? Time to whatever, spend more time with my family, spend more time with my kiddos, walk the dog more, whatever. Right? So careful what you wish for. Yeah. So and I'm not even talking about Minnesota, I'm talking, or United States, the whole world has had to slow down.
Mhm.
Slow the hell down, people, and be very intentional about your actions, right? So we're very intentional when we go out to the grocery store. Because we want to get in and get out of there, as soon as we can. But getting back to why is this a good time? And this might be too woo-woo for people, but the universe is telling us to slow down. The earth, the planet is telling us to slow down. Did you see somewhere on the news, it's India, how clear and clean, the pollution levels have just diminished greatly during this time, which, holy crap.
Right.
It's
LA, I've seen pictures of LA that how
mhm,
much farther they can see. Yeah.
right, and the Himalayas, and
Yes. Yep.
it's taken a pandemic for us to slow down and be intentional. Come inside. And so many of us are afraid to get in our own heads or get stuck in our own heads and thoughts right now. But it is a good time because, well, we do have the time. And that also brings me back to I talk about time management versus people management. If somebody says that they don't have the time, I call bull honky on them, a lot. It's like, what? Your priorities, you're not making the time. We all have 24 hours. I mean, but now, wow, some families really don't have the time to really you're wanting me to clean out the garage when I've got, 5 kids on 5 different screens and my husband is out of work and blah blah blah. I saw this awesome post last night on Instagram. This woman, this writer out of New York, I believe, was talking about shaming, how we just shouldn't shame anyone for anything right now. Shaming us for, you're not cleaning, you're not getting dressed, you're not showered for the day. I mean, it took me, I think I had a 2-week pity party, not even
Mm.
joking. A 2-week, oh my God, what does this mean? We're both out of work right now and, woe is me. But thankfully came out of that hole. But I think everybody had their moments of, what do I do now? How do I do this? How do I pivot from, working hands-on with clients on a daily, weekly basis to talking to them on the phone and video like this and having them walk through their spaces with their mobile device and showing me, the messes and helping them make decisions, etc. So I don't know if I answered your question or if we went completely sideways.
No, I think you were fine. I mean, I think it's an interesting thing, as I think about this being a good time. It's also we're spending more time in our spaces. So
Mm-hmm.
why
Right.
not, not only if we can take the time to do some of those simplification things, it's also being able to be in that space since we're there all the time, right
Oh,
now.
yeah, absolutely. And and it all comes back to two, feeling out of control, and what can we control? We can control what our spaces look like. We can organize, a clean desk compared to a cluttered, papers everywhere, pens, paper clips everywhere. What is going to make you feel more motivated to sit down and work your job now from home? Is it going to be that cluttered space, or is it going to be, a workable space where, okay, I've got fresh paper and pens, and I've got my list here, my thoughts are written down. So it is a good time to take control, because clearing the chaos and the clutter clears what's in our mind as well. It speaks volumes when we can gain more clarity after we clear those spaces. It all fits. It just all
feels
fits.
good. It feels good to organize, especially when you find something that works and you're just like, oh yes, and it's
yeah.
it feels so good. I have somebody that I know who has notoriously messy office, and then he massively cleaned it and then was like, oh my gosh, don't let me forget how good this feels, because I know I don't think I care, but I care.
Yeah, you think that, my productivity is fine. I'm just as efficient in this mess, but honestly, you're not. You're fooling yourself, really. So yeah, we can gain control of our spaces. We can monitor how much news and information comes in as far as what's going on. That can overwhelm us big time. I was listening to the point of, okay, this is really bringing me down. I can only get this in small increments. We can control how much money we spend, right? Watching our budget. We're controlling how many times we run to the grocery store. And we're finding out, honestly, and I love this, that we really can survive on very little. We don't need all the stuff. All the Amazon orders, all the Target runs, browsing through TJ Maxx or whatever. We don't need all the stuff. And for those places to be closed right now, temporarily, I don't want this to go on, because I have several friends, that are small business owners, and I want everybody to get back and working again. But it's giving us a pause and a bit of a spank, so to speak, on how we are spending our money, our time, and our energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It certainly is. I do think the mental shift of what does this mean for people, in their own mind, what does this mean individually for us, and how we can do things a little differently. And it's an interesting thing. I live right by my grocery store, so I certainly plan, but it's not a thought, well, if I have to go grab something, not a big deal. And I'm very much the whole, I can get by without that. I'll figure something else out.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
But
And
it feels like
cooking
it has a different purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And we've been, cooking in big batches and putting stuff in the freezer. Okay, well, we'll, made a pan of lasagna for 2 people. You eat it for a couple nights, the rest goes in the freezer. Yes, and yeah, so gaining control out of what seems like things are just out of control for us right now, and having those templates set up, what works for you. And honestly, I set up a new system for myself for taxes throughout the year, which I'm happy. It takes, what is the saying sometimes? The the carpenter's home is never finished, right? The painter's home, all the rooms aren't painted, whatever, finished painting. Well, the
Yep.
organizer, hey, I'm still trying to figure it all out too, people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Right.
we all have. It's not a cookie cut answer for everyone. Everybody has their own thought process and decision making process. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
where to next, Judy?
Well, let's see. So let's talk about, I love that you are talking about, the whole concept of live simply with Kim is not just organize your closets, right? I mean, it is, you really do this like full scale helper person, that I think is so, it's so lovely what you bring to the table, because it is
Thank you.
it is about the solutions for many things, and sometimes we need those resources. And I just think sometimes that when we think organizer, quote unquote, that we maybe don't think of the big picture of how you work. So I appreciate you talking about some of these other things and our mindsets, and and you've talked about when you've taken somebody, in the last time we talked, when you taken somebody who maybe is moving, transitioning from their house to an assisted living, or somebody who has died or whatever, that you're really there. You're a great resource to, I don't know quite what to do with this. And maybe it's stuff, but maybe it is organization of a concept, or you know
Right.
what I mean? So I love that you bring in this holistic kind of thing, that it's just how your brain works, right? It's not just the physical
Right.
things, it's the other stuff. And I think sometimes we really need the reminder and the help with that. So you're a resource for that too. And I just want people to know that, because I can imagine myself like going through a whole process and never mentioning to you some things that I'm struggling with, and then then I'll be, well, oh, you just do this, or oh, here, have you thought about that, or whatever, um,
Sure. I mean, yeah, I love that I can, and thank you, Judy, for bringing that up and into attention, because it's really the big picture. It's the family dynamics. It's the person's thought process. It's what they're going through in this moment in time. Maybe they're going through a divorce or a move or a job change, or maybe maybe it's a busy family and they want more control over the house and the kids' toys and their schedules and such. And there's emotional attachment to our stuff. It's never about the stuff. I mean, things. Um, if you, I mean, I guess when I first got into this, that's why I got into it, was the one-on-one helping and being that the cheerleader, the support, the hand holder, the emotional support too. I had one of my earlier clients said, this is you're cheaper than my therapist, and we're a lot more productive. Because because you want to get the whole family involved, and so it is a more holistic approach. I talk right away about, what are your big picture goals? What are you looking for? What do you want for your family and for your life? And let's get the things out of there that don't work, and those negative belongings or things too, that if you walk by it, it makes you feel icky or bad about yourself, then it needs to go.
how often
Right?
oh, totally, yeah, or are you keeping that thing because you feel obligated to,
Oh, sure, guilt, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, somebody gave it to you as a gift, maybe, or you inherited it. Well, I can't let that go, because mom gave that to me. And honestly, I tell people that, okay, you're not getting rid of mom, you're not getting rid of, and you're not really getting rid of the thing, you're actually gifting it to someone who can use it and love it, and it's going to bring meaning into their lives too. If it's not your taste, it's not your thing, then gift it to someone or an organization that will appreciate and love it and use it in their space. So
how often do you find yourself giving people permission to do that kind of thing?
Every day. Yeah, in fact, that's
because
one of my.
we need that sometimes, right? We need somebody else to step in and say, you know what?
Oh, sure.
It's okay. I heard a woman who said, if I get something I don't love for, if somebody gave me something and it's just not my thing, she said, I have a time limit. I keep it for this long out of respect for the person, and then I find a new home for it.
I love that. That's so great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughtful giving is what I call it. Thoughtful giving. Let's find, if you really want to find even a specific person to give it to, I've got those resources. If you want to find a specific organization, maybe that's looking for something, there are wish lists out there all over the place. Or here's another idea: you can sell that item and give that money to mom's charity that she loved. My mother had certain charities that she gave to and volunteered for. You could, sell that item and give that money as a donation, in your mother's memory and in her name. So there's, there are ways. There are ways.
And so before we talk about just what does it look like to work with you virtually, let's talk a little bit about, I love the thoughtful giving piece is such a huge thing. That is, like, for me, such a huge thing. Like, if I'm going to get rid of something, it's so much easier for me to let it go if I know there's a place that's going to respect it, give it honor, somebody else loves it. That makes me feel it's all going to be okay.
Exactly.
And
yeah, it's win-win-win all over the board.
Exactly. And you help people figure that out. But one of the things that I know that you do, and I'm wondering how does this play out in this particular time, is that, if things are donatable, like if you have clothes or things for people to start, homeless shelters or if there's domestic violence or those kinds of things where people might be starting out or needing some things, like, your extra silverware is somebody's starter kit, man. I mean,
absolutely.
So where do people, because I'm thinking if you're organizing, if you have that spot that you can put those things in until you can find the home for it when we reopen the world, are there places right now, because I do not have the pulse of this in my own, my finger on the pulse of this at all. But I darn well know there are situations with people needing to leave their houses, people homeless, all of that stuff, who are in a space of moving or needing. Are there resources for that you know of, here in Duluth, but maybe who can you call in other places for that question?
Oh, absolutely, Judy. Thank you. Locally here and throughout the states as well, call the local shelters, call the local women's shelters, and they usually have a wish list. But if there's a specific mama or papa, setting up, they left in the middle of the night with nothing. And if they are setting up shop in their new space right now, they've got nothing. And I often connect my clients' things, with that family, that single mom, directly. So people have been calling me, hey, who are you working with moms right now that are in need of things? And thankfully, the last 4 mamas that we've helped are pretty well set right now. Monetary gifts are always great. So let's see, the women's shelter. So locally here, that would be Safe Haven, the resource center. you can check with the Steve O'Neill apartments too. Those folks are always in need of things. Damiano would also have a wish list, and possibly take something to bypass that middleman, to bypass them and just go directly. Chum would be another one. CASDA, CISDA, the acronym, Center, what is that? The domestic violence. Yeah, yeah. That place over in Souptown is open, and I can help, send links to these places too after we talk, and maybe we can link up those when this gets posted.
But you, I mean, and you go beyond that, you have helped people rehome furniture and,
Yeah.
those kinds of things. So if you are in a place of, oh my gosh, then what am I going to do? If you have done some massive organizing and shifting, or you're trying to figure out, do I even want this, credenza anymore, kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
You are a resource for that. Maybe not now, maybe now. I mean, depending on how somebody wants to get rid of it.
Right. And also, I've helped people, within their home, like repurpose a piece. And I can say, oh, well, maybe that would work in the home office, doing this, or in your child's bedroom, having this or whatever, or turn it into a baby changing table, or, just whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, we are. I mean, we always have a box and a bag ongoing for donations. Always. We just toss things in there. And I mean, before all this happened, I was, making weekly trips to different charity places and dropping off. But yeah, keep it in your basement, keep it in your garage until we're all clear. Yeah. But right. If folks, we can, my contact information can be shared too. They can call me, and I can hopefully connect them with some charities and organizations and folks that are in need right now, especially.
Nice. Yeah, definitely, because things aren't moving like normal. So, but there's still, the need is still there. So what does it, again, I can imagine somebody saying, so, okay, how in the world does it work to have somebody work virtually to help me reorganize my house, my space, my file cabinet, whatever the case might be? So walk us through what that looks like. If if you've got examples that you want to share too, that would be great. But I think painting that picture for people to say, this is a thing that you can do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the person has to be motivated, right? And I can help them be motivated too if they're looking for some more energy, a reason why, to get this done. And we talked about the whys, right? We're all going to feel a lot better when our spaces are clearer, and the kids are going to be, the kids will be able to focus better too when their rooms are in order and when their toys are in their spots. So,
or your unexpected dining room table, now office, you need to figure out, how do I do this to make my flow work?
Exactly. Yeah. Or set the timer, Billy's got the table from whatever 10 till noon, and Susie's got it, after lunch from 1 to 3. So it looks like this. Actually, it looks like this. Isn't that funny? It does. It looks like this. We have a phone call. We get to know each other. Whether it's a phone call or a video call, first, and I start asking those questions. What are your goals, and where are your challenges? Why did you reach out to me initially? Was it because of your garage? Are you moving? Your basement is bugging you. Or getting back to the garage, I'd like to park my car in my garage, right? This next winter.
Right.
So project right now. It looks like this in the beginning. We get to know each other. Let's say, Judy, you picked up your phone or notepad and iPad, whatever, and started walking around and reversed the camera, right? And showed me. You would open up closets and drawers and show me, what spaces are bothering you, the most, and where your challenges are.
Mhm.
And I would start asking about if things maybe are emotional. I know many times they are. Somebody has passed, or somebody, let's say it's a situation where the couple or the family members are butting heads. Your stuff is piling up, and it's your stuff. Can you just take care of this pile of crap over here? And so there's a lot of blame and anxiety, depression. So depending on the person's situation, their family dynamics, what's going on in their house, and then we'll set up, okay, where should we start? Where are you comfortable starting? Because it's really on that person's shoulders too. They've got to do the lifting and schlepping, because I'm not there. Do they have a family member, or can the kids pitch in? And if it's their bedrooms, obviously you want them to pitch in. Is it your spouse or your partner? Who can help you, or are you on your own in this? And if it's a partner or spouse, are they willing to get on a call? The three of us, can we talk this through? Or the family, let's have a family discussion and make sure everybody's on the same page, because once that template is set up, then we've got to get everybody to maintain it, right? The hockey skates go here, right? So to get everybody on the same maintenance plan too. So we come up with, or I guess I would come up with the homework assignments. And then depending if this is maybe just a one-time brainstorming session with me, or if it's a once a week session that we get together, then there's going to be homework in between, and we'll meet next Tuesday again and talk at 3:00 and see what progress has been done, where the challenges are, and we'll celebrate we'll celebrate the progress too.
And I want to highlight what you said there, the brainstorming sessions. So that's another thing that you will do with people. It might be a one-time brainstorming session. If you're somebody who, so how sometimes just bringing in that different energy, the different
Oh,
eyes,
absolutely.
it's like they can sometimes
Yep.
help you see the simplicity of the obvious or not so obvious because of their experience. I mean, I know I live in my apartment. I have a very tiny galley kitchen that when I first got here, I'm like, to open the door, it was the kitchen cupboard door, and it's a skinny little hallway, right? Like the counter, there's not much space in there. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? I'm never going to cook in here. And my friend is like, well, you could just take off the doors. And I'm like, well, that is a simple and elegant solution that I wouldn't have thought of for a while.
Exactly. And I tell you, I have done that. I have done just those one-time, in-home consults or video consult, and just done some brainstorming. The person just needed a little oomph, a little out of the box thinking, somebody else's perspective. Absolutely. Yeah. And those are fun. Those are fun because it's a lot of good interaction. Well, what if this, and what if this, and have you thought about that? And
Yeah, no, exactly. So I think it's a good thing because it doesn't have to be this huge commitment to work with you.
Oh my
Somebody's
gosh.
like, no, I'm not seeing a huge issue. I've got these couple things, and I just, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And the whole time commitment too. with this whole virtual thing is, we're only on the phone maybe half an hour, maybe an hour. And so my time is, what am I trying to say? It's shortened. The sessions aren't as long as me being there hands on. But then the client's got the responsibility then to do A, B, C, or maybe at least A by the time we.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that if somebody, wanted to hire you as their babysitter, as I always call it, when I sometimes need somebody else to walk me through a project, she's like, yeah, I just need you here. I just need your energy. Just
right?
You're willing to do that.
Yeah. And that is another piece of accountability. Okay, Kim and I are going to talk at 3:00 on Tuesday. I've got a deadline, and so then you're committed. You're committed to the project, to the whole process, and it makes a big difference. Mm-hmm. To have that cheerleader and accountability, the support, the guidance. I offer up organizing different or organizing solutions too, like, oh, you can run to Target and get this, or the dollar store has these, or
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to call the Container Store and order up hundreds of thousands of dollars. Use what you have. Michael's has some great baskets for cheap and affordable. Yeah, so we talk about, okay, do you have any empty bins or boxes, baskets around the house, and repurposing something? Yeah, to save the pocketbook right now, especially.
Right. Well, and especially right now when you're not wanting to make trips to the store, you're not wanting to do those things. So is there, if nothing else, is there a placeholder to try this thing for now? And then when you can go to the store, you can get the exact thing that you need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. There might not be even extra money really to, I know the dollar store is open right now because they're considered essential because they have food, they have groceries. So there are lots of inexpensive things, but even folks, if we do want to limit our time out and about right now for sure. So
yeah, no
you're
kidding.
gonna say something and I completely interrupted.
I was just going to say that I think one of the things that you're also highlighting is that you're really communicating and connecting with people about what do they want, what do they need, what is hard about this, what's,
Right.
and helping them maybe figure out where to start. Because I think, again, when I think about the work you do, like when I first heard about you, my mind went to all big projects, right? And not sometimes even just the little projects that might be, I have a desk area, or I have a cabinet, or I have this work project, help me organize it. Because it is sometimes you need somebody else's mindset to just come, who thinks a little differently than you do, but who can also understand how you think enough to do the thing you need to do in the way it's going to work for you. And that's what you are also trying to do with people as well. It is not about laying your organizational ideas on them to do in a particular way. It is throwing out ideas and then what actually works and resonates with them.
Sure. I mean, I'm always open to share what works for me in my house, and in my life, whatever, as far as like morning routine, evening routine, work at home, or take your laptop and go belly up somewhere and work, which we can't do right now. But unless we just, let's try the kitchen table instead of the dining room table.
Exactly.
But I'm never like, you've got to do it this way. I promote, you've got to do what works for you. And because you're going to keep that up, you're going to be able to maintain it then. And that's how your mind thinks. That's how your mind files things. Not everybody files alphabetically. Not everybody files in certain categories. So yeah, I pride myself in saying, okay, what makes sense for you? If I'm sitting down with somebody and we're reorganizing their file cabinets, and I've got my little label maker out, and I'm like, okay, here's this this group of papers, and it's not clear what I would even call it. So I say to you, I said, what would make sense to you? How would you look for this in your filing? What would make sense to you when you're looking for this? You know, some folks will file things like household electronics, or you know, warranties and guarantees. You know, I had one client that wanted everything alphabetized, like I for iPad. You know, he wanted to use separate folders for everything, and it's like, that's great. I have plenty of ribbon here. We can label away. But yeah, but if it doesn't make sense to you, then you're not going to be able to maintain it, and it's not going to be a simple system for you then.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of helping you get inside their heads, but helping them think, how does this even work for me? Because sometimes it's just having somebody help you think through those things that can be so huge and helpful.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, what else does it look like? It's looked very different because everybody's got a different situation and different circumstance. And some folks over the years I've never even met. You know, we've had a video conference, and I get a check in the mail or PayPal, but we've never, you know, they're way out of state, in California, in New York. But like you said earlier, they could be, you know, 2 blocks away right now.
Right, exactly. And you do not only videos but pictures too. Like if for some reason, I don't, you know,
yeah,
if somebody didn't have a web, you know, a good camera, a way to really bring something around the house, you could do pictures.
Yes, yes, and thank you for bringing that up too. Yeah, email photos, texting photos, any of that works. I mean, and even if the person wants to do snail mail, I'm okay with that. Just I mean, that's very slow right now, but yeah, most people can take a picture and put it in an email and send it. But things that people can think about in their mindset, I guess, during this isolation time is, I mean, not only now, but during isolation time is, I mentioned before, you know, we're finding out how really little we do need, and maybe we can adjust our budget even after this is done. Judy, you know, oh, I didn't need, you know, XYZ. So let's just you know, reduce the family spending. Shop. I love this phrase. Shop your house. Shop your belongings. Right. Like you could look in your closet. A person can look in their closet and you know, look at each item, and oh, if you know, if this were on sale or out and about, you know, would I buy this again? You know, would I purchase this item again? You know, we get so used to what's in our closets and what's in our surroundings. You know, a certain vase sits here on this shelf, and this book sits here, and this basket sits here. Shake it up and really question yourself and question each item. You know, do I still love this? Does this really enhance my life? Does this spark joy, bring Marie Kondo into it? You know, does this, you know, does this make me smile? Does this, is this an asset or a liability? Yeah, shop your house, and those things that you say, no, I wouldn't buy that again, you know, or no, I didn't wear that this last winter, so that can go in the donation. Right now, I mean, yeah, we've had some kind of crazy Duluth, Minnesota weather. As far as, I think we had 3 seasons yesterday in a day. It snowed and rained and all of that. but yeah, you can go through your winter closet. That'd be winter clothes be an easy thing. And we're
Or
also, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say that there's one thing to consider that I see concerns about over this is for how have you grown or shrunk during this time?
Oh, the COVID-19, right? The
Yes,
19,
exactly. So
right.
if the clothes doesn't fit now, but it did 4 weeks ago, don't get rid of it just yet. You'll probably just
Yeah.
get back there again.
Exactly.
When
Exactly.
you're
Oh
not
my God.
baking bread every day, you know.
Oh man.
I
Yeah.
know that's not what everybody's doing, but my gosh, my Facebook page, I tell you, there is so much beautiful food porn on there that it's just it's like
Food
I'm
porn.
I'm glad that I don't get to have to take in the calories from pictures I see because I'm like, oh,
Oh man.
cookies, oh, muffins, oh my gosh, and I don't have like any of that stuff in my house. Thank God, I loved baked goods, which is exactly why I'm not a baker. But but it
Right.
is funny.
Right.
She's like, it's a cool thing. I love that people are taking the time to do that. You know what I mean? But I'm
Exactly.
thinking as time
Exactly.
goes, we're probably some people are going to expand. So don't get discouraged because after life
Yeah.
gets back to normal again, you
Yeah.
you might just find yourself back to where you were. So.
Right. No shaming. No shaming. Yeah. If it's comfort food to you, eat it.
Oh
To
my
yeah,
gosh.
it's okay. We'll
Right.
we'll all
Yeah.
get
Right now, nobody's doing anything normally, and everybody's responding differently, right? Like some people are eating, and then you've got me, who I'm like, I don't know what the deal is. I'm not as hungry as normal. I'm eating better than
there.
normal. And I'm like, I'm gonna
Yep.
take it. I'm just gonna count that blessing and run with it because rock on. But I know that there are other times in my life that would not be the case. So it's yeah.
Oh,
How can we mindfully feed our bodies, feed our souls, but like I said, the baking and the family, and just being able to express yourself, to have the time to do that and
yeah.
play for
Yeah.
people is just so much fun for some, and it is fun to see what they're
I know
making and
it.
the things they're trying. So
I hear you. I wish I had my daughter here to bake because that's something we love to do together.
oh right
Yeah, we've been baking. Carl and I have been baking cookies and eating cookies. And what's the next cookie?
right
Cookies, which is horrible, but whatever, whatever. But yeah,
right
getting
yeah
back to questioning, you know, and here another thing that's very good about the time that we're in, we are planning our outings, right? We're really scheduling and planning, and we've got our list, and we're going to the grocery store hopefully once a week, ideally every 2 weeks, I heard.
mm-hmm.
I love to have fresh fruits and veggies, so that's kind of hard to do for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
um, but question your purchases when you're going out, and really shop your pantry, shop the things that you already have, shop what's in your freezer before you go out and get it. Yeah, and it does question all of our purchases, as far as ordering from Amazon or whatever website you're ordering stuff from, eBay, to buy our happiness, so to speak. And there's something said for that too.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird and tough time, I think, and it's kind of like, like you said, no shame, but at the same time, be check in with yourself, you
Oh
know,
yeah,
as
be
to
mindful
yeah, yeah,
and be respectful when you're out and about too. Be respectful of other people, and should run to 10 different places all in one day, um, yeah, try to schedule those out.
yeah. Yeah, it's certainly the making sure you're making the grocery list is a much more mindful process in that,
Yeah.
than it might be otherwise, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Um, Let me see. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to make sure we cover here. Um,
Sure. I'm looking
any
over my notes too.
any other, either nuggets around working with you virtually or some of the things that you have helped people with that people might just not think about?
Oh, golly. Yeah, I guess define professional organizer, and it's not, I don't necessarily fall under that typical organizer. Right. Yeah. What do I do with this? Like, okay, for instance, researching what an item might be worth too. Let's say it's an antique or it's a collectible. I've got people that know things.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So like an estate appraiser, right? Or you can go on to eBay and check like the sold items if there's something similar. Yeah, repurposing, I guess. Getting your house, decluttering the house before you put it on the market. That's another. I'm helping two clients right now do that, and one is helped her do that, and now she's moving and packing toward the first of May, which is kind of crazy in this time.
Yeah.
Moving
Yeah, no
and
kidding.
trying to find the help. Um, the safe help, those essential workers, the moving companies are still up and running. But she was like, I got quotes from, ABC. Do you know of anybody else that could be, more within my budget? And by golly, I did know some folks, and they're insured, and they're going to help her move next week. So that's awesome.
Awesome.
Other things, yeah. Let's say, God bless, somebody passed away, and the family is out of town, and that's happened before. They'll call me and say, there's nobody in Duluth. My wife and I, or whoever, we can't take the time to come and go through, grandma's apartment. She didn't have any kids, or there's no other family nearby. Will you help facilitate? Will you be the project manager for that? Finding homes, selling stuff, dropping things off to charity, and then arranging, a cleaning company to come in and clean. I'm that project manager too. It's yeah, it's interesting. Every client is different, and every situation is different. Let's see, what else might someone, yeah, out of the ordinary thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those things that you might not be sure you could reach out to somebody for, or it might seem either too big or too little, you know?
right. Uh, Having the resources, we all have a broken or things that need mending and fixing, and I've got a lot of those resources. I'm connected to a lot of people that, oh, I know so and so, he works on this, or they work
Oh,
on this, and if they don't know, they know someone who will. I love that. I'm a connector.
well, right. And yeah, and that's the thing. You've got your hands in a lot of different things. And that sometimes, I mean, how many times
Right.
are, well, this is broken. It's probably not worth fixing. Well, maybe it's worth checking, or
Right,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
who does this? This isn't the thing you're going to find in the phone book under whatever repair.
Right, exactly. Like cuckoo clocks, who in this area works on grandfather clocks and cuckoo clocks
Right.
anymore, right?
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
yeah,
Yeah.
things like that.
Of course, there's probably somebody in the house going, no, please don't fix the cuckoo clock.
Don't fix the cuckoo. Don't let her know that you know someone.
Yeah, right, exactly. They're like, all right, podcast over. Yeah.
Oh man, that's so great. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh my
when
gosh.
folks, overwhelmed and don't know where to start, that's sometimes when I get the phone call, help.
Yes.
we're we're just at a roadblock and we don't know what to do with all of this stuff, and we want to do it in a meaningful way, not just throw it all to the big box charities.
Oh, exactly. And that's a lot of it for people. It's, I always feel so devastated when I hear people who have cleaned out and literally tossed in the garbage boxes and bags of things that I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody could have, when I hear some of the things that they've thrown, I'm like, oh, that, why not Goodwill?
Right.
At least Goodwill, but there's so many other places too
Yeah.
that are helpful and
Yeah.
good and that you can get a direct connection. And
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
but
yeah,
it's the time to do that and the
Mhm.
know who to call, because you're like, well, I can call 10 people, but is it really worth it? And I know that's part of it for people. It's is it worth it to call about these things that I might spend all day on? And so then you sometimes make the decision to let them go in not such a great way when you might have the resource to help with that.
Right, exactly, exactly. And that's what's so lovely too, Judy, is that, somebody will just say, I'm so glad, we gave you the keys to the house and we didn't have to worry about, finding a home for mom's, whatever it was, some of her favorite things that she didn't want to just land in a dumpster somewhere.
Exactly, because that's a fear. That's a fear for a lot of
Yeah.
people,
Oh,
right?
it's a
That,
real fear, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
That their now their loved one is gone and they want to respect and in their memory, honor those things. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Peace of mind around some of that is so huge for people. It really is.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this is, maybe the stuff doesn't matter to you, but it mattered to them, and it's that person. And you're
Right.
like, the image of people just going in and boxing and throwing is just beyond
Oh, I
devastating.
know. Exactly. Yeah, they've already lost their loved one, and that's just another piece of, there goes mom down the driveway,
Right?
and just, yeah, ick. Yeah, no
Yes.
one wants that. Yeah.
No. No. Um, what else am I not thinking that we need to cover that would help people know, um, help people know how to work with you, or other things that you want people to be aware of?
Oh, golly. Let me look through here quickly, Judy.
Sure. And the nice thing is, again, you do offer so many different types of things. So if somebody is really not quite sure, but they have that idea that, yeah, well, okay, maybe an hour brainstorming is what we end up with, and that's all I need, and that's okay. But that's
Oh,
not a project too
absolutely.
small. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, not at all. I love to be helpful. Call me. I mean, if in doubt, call Kim as far as, can you help me with, fill in the blank? And if I can't, I sure as hell know somebody who can,
Right.
most likely. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything
I
else
mean,
we've.
right. If somebody even wants to, set up set up, throw things on the top of the table, take a picture and send it to me, and then we'll have a conversation maybe after that. Or if they're, if they want to plug in their phone and save their battery, just set me up and have me on video for a while, and I'll sit with you and go through a box or go through a space. Done that before. So,
But you start with folks, you offer a 30-minute consultation right off the bat to help
oh
people
yeah,
figure out if you're a good
absolutely.
fit.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yep. Whether it's a video call or just a regular phone call. Yeah.
Wonderful. And
Yeah.
that takes the question, if somebody's just feeling like, I have no idea, that just takes the challenge out of it. That makes it easy, just
Oh,
reach out
yes.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
No obligation whatsoever.
Mm.
Yeah. I want it to work. So I'll do the best I can to make it work. And if I can help brainstorm and get you, over a hump, go baby.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and applaud yourself for the progress.
Right.
Mm. Yeah, you can also, there's no shaming, no judgment coming from me whatsoever. Again, it's we talked about giving yourself permission. So give yourself permission to allow the help, to allow the help. And even if it's not me, if it's somebody else, just take the help. It's okay to ask for help, and don't be ashamed of your surroundings. That's my job, is to help you clear it. Set the priorities, and organize and simplify your life. Basically, not just your spaces, but it affects the whole life, not just I mean, the clear spaces clear mind, right? Clear your spaces clears the mind, takes a lot of stress off. So it's again, just give yourself permission to ask for help. It's okay. And it's okay that your place is a wreck. It's okay. There's no judging. I've been in some nasty hoarding situations, and I've seen it all. It's okay. Today's a new day. Let's do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that for some people that is the thing that, that stops them. It's like I know people who won't get cleaning people because they can't get their house clean enough to have a cleaning person over. Or,
Right. I
you
gotta
know,
clean before you come over.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. And from your perspective, I mean, granted, sometimes people need a reset due to a billion different things going on in one's life, that might have them in just this chaotic, or to them it feels like a chaotic situation that they want to get out of. But it's like, it's like, oh gosh, but I'm here. How did I get here? And you're saying, hey,
Right.
whatevs, doesn't matter. Just let's get you back. Let's reset. Let's help you figure out what's going to make everything a little bit easier for you, whatever that looks like. So,
Exactly. The past is in the past. Let's leave it there, Let's leave it there. We don't this is how you got here. It's okay. Let's move forward now.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah. No shame, no judging at all. And it's, oh my gosh, such a good feeling to be able to pull people out of those holes and pits, and for them to know that there's somebody out there that cares and that's going to help them through this however they got there,
right,
whether it's a physical or a mental, a circumstance, a divorce, a move, um, a death of a loved one too. I mean, there's so many reasons a person can get chronically disorganized or in a hoarding situation. Yeah, it's not just an OCD thing
right, right.
that many
Well, and
people think that it is.
right, yeah, right. And well, and you're able to come in and be that disconnected person. You're not the friend, you're not the family member who it's just sometimes that's a person that can be really helpful getting you through those things because of whatever relationship you have, and then the trust is there in a way that that they're going to be supportive. And then other times it's like, I need somebody who doesn't know me, who doesn't, that I don't have to face again after this or whatever,
Yeah,
that can come
right.
in, and you can just deal with it and then move on and reset and do what you got to do.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. To come in, um, yeah, because it's not mine. I'm not emotionally attached, but I certainly have respect. Um, I have your respect, and I have respect for your things. Somebody might pick up a torn off, phone number, and it was just kind of a scrap on the floor. And like, does this number mean anything to you? I'm not just going to throw, crumple it up and toss it. This, you wrote this down on this little Post-it note or whatever. Yeah, or something that looks like garbage might be some awesome memorabilia for someone. So
Right.
yeah, so there's respect for every little thing.
And
Yeah.
then I think it's important for people to know, because I think that's sometimes the fear, right? I mean, that's why some people don't have their friends come help, because they have an idea that, well, you don't need this thing, or, oh, what is this? It's just garbage. Well, yeah, I know it looks like garbage, but it was my grandmother's thing. It was the last thing that happened, well, before she died, and it's the thing
Oh,
that matters to
exactly.
me.
I know, right? Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Anything else before, because I want to make sure people know how to find you. Anything else that you have, or just a little, that little, I mean, you've given a lot of great thought process and ideas of kind of how to think about things. Any other tips you want to toss in there?
Yeah. Take this time and really try to embrace this time, folks. Try to embrace the time that we have with one another, the time that we have, as a family spending. Yeah, it's homeschooling the kids, but you're all together, and we need to be thankful that we're all together. Carl and I was it yesterday or the day before? I'm like, I want to get back into yoga again. Will you do this yoga video with me? And he did. He was up for it. Yeah, right. So yeah, so embrace and try something new. Take the time, be intentional, be mindful of how you're spending your time, where you're spending your money, and the energy, and simplifying all of those processes in your home and your schedule is really going to make your life a lot easier. And then the family dynamics change along with that, for sure. So as much as we hate, and as much ickiness is going on through all of this, we've got to find that spark, that silver lining in all of this. And that's what I wish for everyone, is that they can come away and what good has come of this. And I ask myself every day, what did I get done? What good did I do today? Or what came out of today that was good?
Right. And that can totally be for yourself, right? Like, I mean, that is just it isn't about what good did I do in the world. It's what did I do even for myself? Because
Exactly.
This is a time of chaos and needing sort of that, I don't know if for some people that's going to be introspection, but sometimes it is just, what can you do to help yourself along with this? Yeah.
Yep. And the other piece too is we all want to feel like we're contributing in some way, right? What can we do as far as contributing, whether it's financial, whether it's getting groceries for an elderly neighbor. What can we do to be a part of the good and of the help? People are sewing masks, people are running errands, people are at the food shelves, and doing grocery shopping and such. So
yeah,
and it makes you feel helping makes you feel good. It just does.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if you can do something for somebody else, great. But man, if you can do something for yourself too, and just move something along in your life that helps you out, that's a pretty sweet win.
Absolutely. Yay.
Well, how do people find you?
They find me on my website, livesiemplywithkim.com. They can find me on Instagram, Live Simply with Kim. I am also on LinkedIn, Kim Ann Schlichting. I am on Facebook. I've got a business page, Live Simply with Kim, and my Kim page too. Phone number 218-213-8071. And yeah, and I've been doing more FaceTime live videos, and there will be more of a series coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. Um, yeah, can find me all over the place. Can find me around town in my Live Simply mobile.
Yes. Yeah, you're easy to spot, which is nice.
Oh my gosh.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I hope, again, for people who have the time and maybe just are feeling really stuck, that
Sure.
they can, reach out or find something in this episode or whatever that just helps them kind of figure out what is their next step, or reach out and say, what is my next step? Help me find my next step. Yeah. It's not
exactly.
Organizing isn't always easy. I mean, there are things that can be simple, right? But they're not always easy,
Right.
or you need help making them easy because you're attached to the way it always was, or whatever the case is, that you just don't get to the easy part. And so, yeah, having another brain in there is great. So.
Yeah. And as far as another spot where folks can find me, I mean, speaking gigs have been, all canceled, but hopefully this fall, this fall I'll be able to get back out there. I'll be at the Northland Go show at the deck in the fall, hopefully in October. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If not, I'll be on social media along with everyone else.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. It's good to have you back. And I think you're doing great work. And I think a lot of people, we need help over those little humps sometimes. And sometimes it's just to get us going. But it's great to know that there's a resource that, you are a great resource for so many things. And so it's great for people to know that you're out there.
Thank you. And back at you. What a treat to always just to have you as a friend too is such a treat. I'm so happy that you're in my life, and you too are. And this podcast is such a huge resource to our community and to the community at large, all over the world, the health and wellness. It's a big umbrella.
It is. That's what I want it to be. It's figuring that stuff out, right? I mean, it is all the what do I not know that I don't know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, thank you. It's very sweet.
Yay.
All right.